Okay, what is good, everyone? Welcome to another SK Wealth Academy podcast. And today I'm going to talk about two topics. Number one, the foolishness of holding paper claims on physical gold. And number two, the worst possible scenario described by Stephen Hawking is already here. So before I get started, please don't forget to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. I don't know why, but my subscription numbers have been stuck for an entire month. It has not grown by one subscriber. So if just one of you could click that subscribe button, just one, that's all I ask, is one for this video. If nobody subscribes, you're getting no more videos for the next couple weeks. So all I need is one new subscriber on this video, and I'll keep producing videos. So it's not too much to ask. So you keep your part of the deal, I'll keep part of mine. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. As far as why I haven't run any live streams yet, it's been like an entire month. YouTube has still not approved me for my channel for monetization. It looks like they probably will not, so maybe I'll just run live streams anyway because I'm still going to run them, even because it looks like they are not going to monetize my channel. Okay, so let's get started. Number one, the reason why you are foolish if you have physical gold stored at COMEX warehouses in New York and you hold paper warrants and have not yet loaded out. It doesn't necessarily mean you're a fool. I'm not calling you a fool, but just foolish. Because there's a difference between a fool and someone that does something foolish. Because smart people will do foolish things from time to time, but a fool in general is always doing foolish things. So in addition, if you're buying your gold through asking for physical settlement and closing out gold futures contracts, congratulations. There's a good chance you're receiving blood gold as well, meaning gold that has blood on its hands, sourced from illegal wars or criminal activities. Why would I say that? Because COMEX has admitted in the past that a ton of gold, pun intended, from criminal sources ended up in their vaults in the past. So the likelihood that gold stolen from nations in illegal wars are held in COMEX vaults are probably, I put the percentages at 90% or higher. It's probably gold stolen from Libya. It's probably gold stolen from Iraq. It's probably gold stolen from Ukraine, all in COMEX vaults. So again, I'll put the link below if you want to know what was the proof in the past that COMEX had sourced a lot of their gold from criminal sources, because it is out there. It was even on Bloomberg if you need some mainstream source for you to believe it. Even though I was saying things like gold prices are being manipulated in the futures markets back in 2008 when no mainstream source would touch that story for a decade. It didn't mean it wasn't true. But a lot of people today, they need to see it on the mainstream source to believe it. So why do I say that anyone that holds warrants on physical gold in COMEX warehouses but has not opted to load out, which means actually take physical delivery, why that's a extremely foolish behavior? Because how many instances does one need to understand that if you hold physical gold within the banking system, despite holding paper claims saying that you own it, that you really don't own it until it's secure in your ownership and you take physical possession of it in the capacity that it is held completely outside of the banking system. So to begin, if you hold warrants on COMEX Gold, you have never seen that physical gold. So are you certain it's actually there in the warehouses just because they're saying it is? Are you certain that that same gold hasn't been rehypothecated to 20 other institutions and people? Because in 2005, clients entered into contracts with Morgan Stanley bankers to purchase not only physical gold, but physical silver, physical platinum, physical palladium, and the terms of the contract where they could take physical delivery at any time, and they were given these paper contracts as promises and proof of their physical precious metals ownership in vaults owned by Morgan Stanley bankers. But the only major problem is that when one person got suspicious and was thinking, hey, maybe they never really bought any physical precious metals for me, even though I signed a contract saying I own physical metals, and that person asked for physical delivery, guess what? Morgan Stanley bankers refused to deliver the precious metals never delivered a single gram of physical metals to the clients that have purchased quote unquote physical PMs from them, PMs being precious metals, and eventually settled with the clients by paying $4.4 million in a class action lawsuit settlement that included not only the price of the purchased precious metals, but also damages, which was basically proof that the bankers had lied to their clients and never purchased any physical metals, even though they gave their clients a contract saying they owned physical metals. And some of you say, well, that was 2005, that's 15 years ago. Bankers aren't like that today, which is really, really foolish. Okay, in that case, I would call you a fool if you would say that, not just committing a foolish behavior. Because how many instances do we need to see stuff like what happened in the Morgan Stanley case happen over and over and over and over again before you understand a piece of paper does not mean, just even if it legally says you own that physical gold, silver, platinum, palladium, whatever, does not mean you own it when it's a banker that wrote that contract up. So again, I'll give you another example. I'm trying to think of what was the other example I wanted to cover. Oh, okay. ABN AMRO, the largest Dutch bank. They pulled the exact same scam with their clients, and more recently, because I think this was in 2013, in which they entered contractual obligations with 2,000 clients. They promised their clients they were buying physical gold. Physical gold was being vaulted with them on their behalf. But then in April 1st of 2013, they sent a notice to all 2,000 customers saying, well, sorry, we know you said you could take physical delivery of your physical gold anytime you want it, but we're only willing to return to you the European price of your physical gold holding. So ABN AMRO did not return one single gram, let alone one single troy ounce of physical gold to their clients that all believed they held physical gold. So even if they had a piece of paper that said they had a legal right to take delivery of physical gold, that means nothing when it comes to bankers. So again, I'm going to put a link where you can see the actual letter if you read Dutch, because of course, as a Dutch bank, the letter is in Dutch. And you can go view it if you want to see the actual letter that was sent to them. And then just 5 years ago, in November 2015, I told all Indian citizens, look, you're a fool if you listen to your Prime Minister Narendra Modi and you forgo buying physical gold and instead buy paper gold bonds that at most paid an annual coupon of 2.75%. in 2015, which has since been adjusted downward to the maximum annual coupon rate paid semi-annually of 2.5% by 2020. And even though the face value of the bonds rose in line with rising spot prices of gold, this is why that action was a behavior of a foolish person. Because number one, if you bought physical gold, you actually hold physical gold. The only way those gold bonds settle is in paper fiat rupees. So even if the price goes up, you don't get any physical gold returned to you. All you get is rupees. And there you can buy physical gold, take out loans through gold financing companies like Manappuram. I'll put a link below if you live in India or an Indian citizen. Don't get fooled by your government and your snake prime minister. That is calling, as well as your central bankers, Reserve Bank of India bankers, that call a gold demonetization program. They're calling it a gold monetization program, this sovereign gold bond program, because they comically reference paper and digital rupees as real money. This is real money, and gold is unsound money. So that's why they call a decision to forego buying real physical gold and buying paper gold as a gold monetization program, whereby anyone else that understands the basic tenets of real sound money understand that this sovereign gold bond program is a gold demonetization program, the exact opposite of what these government officials and bankers claim. So furthermore, given that the premium of real physical gold over spot gold is more than 2.5% a year, there literally is no advantage to buying gold bonds over physical gold. For example, as I record this, in early September, the price of a 1 ounce Canadian gold maple leaf that is 4.9 fine gold is $2,033. And I know there's a bid-ask spread, so let's take 98% of that. Let's give a 2% spread. The price of spot gold right now is $1,931. So even the sellback price on the physical gold would be 3.08% over the spot price. Now, I realize the actual real net spread on physical buys and sells are eroded because when you're buying, you have to pay a premium over spot as well. But here's why the premium is worth it, because the peace of mind of actually owning physical versus just trading fiat rupees is worth way more than the 2.5% annual interest that the bankers are going to pay you on the gold bonds, in my opinion. And like I said, Manappuram is an Indian finance company that will loan you money on physical gold. So if you're hard out for cash, just buy physical gold, take a loan out against your physical gold. And finally, for those of you that have watched, and what I want to say is, even though with those that hold warrants on COMEX Gold, why it says very foolish if you actually think you own that gold, because a lot of people say, wow, there hasn't been any defaults yet in deliveries of those that ask for physical gold. So why is it foolish? Well, because I'm telling you, in the future, there will be defaults. And then when you're trying to scramble to get that physical gold and end up with nothing but rapidly devaluing fiat currencies, then you're going to feel extremely foolish, because I warned you before it happened, because it is going to happen in the future. And before I finish up, for those of you that watch my recent podcasts about the power of integrity, the power of exhibiting courageous behavior in dark times, there's a saying that the poorest people in the world are the ones with the most amount of money, meaning that the 0.1% of the richest people in the world, were it not for their obscene wealth, would attract numerous other parasites that only befriend them because they want to scam them out of some of the obscene wealth they hold. They might have as real friends less than 3 or 4 people in the entire world, because usually their personalities and human qualities tend to be quite repugnant. So the only reason people want to be friends with them is because of their obscene wealth, and they think that these people will break them off something or give them like really good connections. It's not because they want to be friends with these people because their character is so strong and their ethics are so strong and they're admirable people. So because such people normally dwell in spiritual poverty and darkness, many people that exhibit spiritual integrity and spiritual shine view the monetarily richest people in the world as dwelling among the poor. This, of course, is not to say that very wealthy people in the world cannot be wonderful human beings. I'm friends with a couple multimillionaires that I like quite a bit and have a lot of admirable traits. I'm merely stating that if your wealth grows into the echelons of the Jeff Bezoses, the George Soroses, the Bill Gateses, or the Mark Zuckerbergs, that the very traits they possess that enable them to capture such obscene wealth are usually very dark, very unattractive, very misanthropic qualities. So I'd like, if I were introduced to any one of them and talk to them for like more than half an hour, I highly doubt I would want to be friends with him, even if one of them said, here, take my number. I'm sure that I would not want to be friends with any of them. In fact, I've stated in recent podcasts when I first revealed that bankers were suppressing gold prices in the futures markets, besides the honorable people at GATA, the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, GATA.org, who I always, in all these videos, I have no affiliation with them, but if you've made any profits on physical gold and silver this year, I highly encourage you to go to their website and donate, even if it's just $10, donate something to them, because they function completely off of donations. And no gold analyst in the entire world, when I was writing about this more than a decade ago, other than the people at GATA, supported me. You know why? Because all these gold analysts knew that at that time that it would hurt their businesses to recognize the truth. So they would rather sell their souls because of the fact that it would hurt their ability to make money, because they would have been viewed as conspiracy theorists back then for telling the truth. So they sell their souls out to suppress the truth. And only people that supported me, like I said, was GATA back then. So when whether that industry is banking, agriculture, oil, pharmaceuticals, tech, real estate, or retail, I don't care, to reach the upper echelons of salary in any industry is near impossible without selling one's soul. So that's why I'm always happy to promote sound money on this channel, as sound money promotion is something everyone can engage in which they can make considerable profits, build their wealth, and be on the right side of light instead of the side of darkness. So many people whom I also listen to online preach many of the same ideals as myself, and I've heard them state recently that there may be no way to win our current battle against the 0.1% of the ruling class right now, other than to be completely self-sufficient, like the Ladakh people in Tibet. If you don't know who they are, go look it up. They have a really interesting story. For centuries, the Ladakh have been self-sufficient, and that's spelled Ladakh, I believe. L like Larry, Alpha, Delta, Alpha, Koala, Hawaii, Ladakh. And every single one of the Ladakh people, they know how to build their own homes, like every single person in the community. That's astounding to me. And they were completely self-sufficient for centuries until modern civilization started creeping in. So I can't say they're all now completely self-sufficient, because that self-sufficiency has disappeared with the invasion of modern society into their culture. But what they used to do is they used to be a cooperative village where they would all grow their own food, tend to their own sheep, but they would share in the duties of what they needed to do to survive. So this is one way to remain pure of heart and spirit in a world that is increasingly becoming more impure as far as the people leading the way in finance and politics and affecting our liberties and our freedoms and our way of life. So the second way is to continue to teach others about the liberating qualities of sound money, and to fight to reinstitute sound money over the parasitic ruling class's desire to reset the financial world into 100% digital currency course that will cement our fates for all of us as slaves. So winning the monetary battle and instituting sound money systems all over the world would grant us our much desired freedoms. However, that requires participation of every single one of us that desires positive change moving forward. Not some of us, not just a few of us, but every single one of us. Because right now, I would estimate that less than 8% of this world is exhibiting the courage and conviction of their beliefs to move towards a better world. Not just 8% of the entire world, I mean 8% of the world that actually want a better world. So this requires, again, like I said, the participation of every single person, meaning that all of us must take responsibility and accountability to contributing our part into the creation of a better world, and can no longer remain silent and let others take up the struggle for them, or take the hits personally, financially, economically, to their families to try to create this better world, because that's an infinitely selfish way to think and behave. We must all take these hits together. Because why? Because there is strength in numbers. For every one person willing to stand up and fight, this lessens the negative impact and brunt upon the people already fighting. So as this group of people that are fighting grows, the negative impact on every person in that group will diminish. But as long as other people remain silent and just say, oh, well, these people are fighting for what I want, and I'm not going to risk anything in my life to support them, guess what? The movement will not progress forward, because we need to lessen the brunt and negative impact upon the people already fighting, which means we need better numbers. So that's why I always say, please spread this message to everyone you know. Please please comment, because that helps spread the message. And for every person that stands up and fights, that comments and speaks out, and thereby provides courage to other people to then also take action, to speak out, to comment, because you know what? This lets when other people see other people acting, it gives them and grants them courage to also join the fight. And this will soften the blow, like I said, for everyone that is currently fighting. And this is something I believe is the only way we can win the battle against those are fighting right now to enslave us. But as long as all the righteous good people remain silent, and there are a ton of people that have remained silent that I know are righteous good people, then I just fear that we will not win this battle. So I know if all of you are still watching, I know you all believe what I have just said. So it's time we all turn our beliefs into conviction and action, and promise, make a pledge today never to be silent in this fight from this point forward. Like one of my patrons recently asked me, what's the point of the ruling class destroying economies? I'll tell you what the point is right now. Because it's self-evident, because there's dozens of these politicians like New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, U.S. Senator Nancy Pelosi, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, even medical chief Dr. Fauci, they have all been photographed and filmed violating the very social distancing and non-essential travel bans that they say is for the rest of us, but not for them, which proves to us that they don't believe the virus is actually as dangerous as they say, because why would they risk their own lives, right? This is just logic. I can't believe that people can't see this logic. If the very people giving us these mandates, right, to shelter at home, to restrict our freedoms, are not doing the same for themselves, do they really think this virus is as dangerous as they are promoting it as? Because if they actually believe that, would they risk their own lives? Of course not. So they don't believe anything they say. So I don't understand why all these foolish people out there are just blindly following their mandates, because they would act in accordance with their own mandates if they really believed in them, or believed they were necessary. So we all know that the virus is nowhere as dangerous as they have worked so hard to make people around the world, especially Americans, because I think Americans have been brainwashed the most out of all the people I've met. The ones that really believe we must follow all these mandates are Americans. And I also further believe that China falsely sold the world on the dangers of this virus. I really do believe that some of that danger was fabricated, and I don't even believe that all those videos we saw of people being like, people being locked into their apartments and not allowed to leave because they're infected. I really believe that was a scam. I don't really believe that happened in real life. I believe that they just showed these as draconian measures as possible to fool the rest of the world in responding in the same draconian manner as they did. Because if you were that draconian, you'd only be that draconian if the virus was really that dangerous. Now we see all of China opened up, but nobody else will believe them that, hey, everything should be open now. So it was a ruse. They sold the Kool-Aid to the government leaders, and at one point in time the government leaders may have believed that ruse, but like I said, their actions show they don't believe it at all. But what they did see is they saw an opportunity to keep selling the Kool-Aid to their citizens as a means to expedite the implementation of their New World Order, to create the ruling class of the 0.1% and the slave class of the 99.9%. So that is the reason why the ruling class is deliberately destroying economies, creating mass genocide by deliberately taking food off the table, hundreds of millions of people, pushing them into the verge of starvation all around the world, putting hundreds of millions of people out of work. Again, people will brush off this reason as a conspiracy, but only fools, not foolish people, but complete fools will do so, because it's all happening in plain sight, and only the greatest of all fools would fail to see that this push to the Great Reset, which the World Economic Forum, even on their website, has written out in black and white what their goals are that I'm telling you in this video. They've been willing to advertise it. Now, what I said was going to be the second part of this, which I'm going to tell you right now. Stephen Hawking once said, we better hope that if there's alien life anywhere in our universe, or even outside of our universe in interstellar space, you go into another universe, they find ours and can travel and visit us on planet Earth, that we better hope they don't find us, because he said he had little doubt that they would view us much like we view ants, and because we would be so inferior to them intellectually and technology that they would colonize us and make us all slaves and just use the resources of our planet. But the truth of the matter is, we don't need alien visitors to accomplish this, because this is the very mission that the 0.1% ruling class is carrying out right now. So for those of us still unable to digest and internalize this fact, the greatest push in their creation of a new paradigm of slavery has always been the control that they have seized through the implementation of their fiat currency system, in which money used around the world is literally backed by nothing, and its value is entirely dependent upon whatever they decide is its value, is its purchasing power every single day of every single week of every single month of every single year. If they really wanted to free us, any logical person will understand that the first step to a free and happy society, which must be implemented, in which everyone has the right to pursue life, liberty, and happiness, would be the institution of a sound monetary system. And absent sound monetary principles and the complete abolition of our current unsound monetary system, that no human being on this planet has the right to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. So this indisputable fact is not speculation, it's a complete fact alone should reveal why the ruling class has used the virus as an excuse to deliberately destroy the economies of nations all around the world and the financial lives of not millions, not tens of millions, but hundreds of millions of people around the world. And because they merely seized an opportunity that they created through this creation of a false crisis to further their end goal of creating a permanent underclass of financial slaves to serve them. So that wraps up the podcast for this particular topic. Please, like I said, do not be afraid to speak up. Do not be afraid to comment on this video or any other video that spreads the messages, because people need to see lots of comments to understand that they are not alone in this fight. That's why it's important. So I urge you, let's see if more than like 8 people will comment on this video. So I'm urging people to not be afraid. Be bold, be courageous, be strong, because we have strength in unity, but in disunity we will fall and we will die. Okay, thanks so much for watching. As always, I send you all my blessings, and take care, and always remain intensely curious.